Good morning and happy Flex Friday, and welcome to another powerful episode of Espresso with Erin and Sarit. This is Erin.
I'm Erin. Hi.
And I'm Sarit, and today we're going to distinguish the difference between growth and void feel.
Between this hairdo and this.
Between growth and void filling. But before that,
Like void hyphen feeling. Void hyphen
like
feeling. Void feeling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But before that.
If you're a driven woman and you're currently at a point in your life where your body doesn't match your level of ambition, I want to invite you to take on the 7-day Body Shred Challenge inside our Savage Sisters community. Inside this group, you'll find everything you need to set you up for a long-lasting, sustainable transformation. In the classroom, you'll find the training videos, the tracker, and all of the resources and workouts you'll need in order for you to be successful in this journey. Inside this group, you'll also receive direct coaching and accountability from both Erin and myself and connect with a community of like-minded women who are invested in the pursuit of their own greatness. On the screen, there's a QR code that you can scan, and there's also a link in the description of this video. So click that link and we'll see you there. Let's talk about your hair.
I mean, look, if you could use one word to describe my hair. By the way, if you know what my hair usually looks like, this is maybe, I hope this is funny to you. If you don't usually know what my hair looks like, it's not this. What do we got going on over on
Well, I was actually going to take a photo, so we'll post it on Savage Sister earlier, like later, like the side point.
Oh, my shirt's still up. We just came from the gym.
So you have a very special look for today. You look like an Abraham Lincoln. Oh, this is so good. All right.
La la la. Okay, one word, lumberjack. I think that's what okay, but what about now? This is no longer a lumberjack. This is lumberjacked. Oh, you see
So
what we
good.
did there?
So
All right,
good.
it's done.
So good.
It's finished.
All right. So
West Side Story.
So why are we talking about, today we're going to just ask one another thought-provoking questions. And by that, I mean, I'm just going to interview Erin and maybe she will interview me. Who knows?
We're going to start with a question and have a dialogue. And always we will find a way to relate it back to you and your journey as it pertains to not only looking physically your best, but feeling physically and mentally and emotionally your best.
Growth and development.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactamundo.
Yeah, so I'll share with you a quick story of how that came about yesterday. You know, when you are committed to your goals, like you got to develop habits, right? And I mean, this is why you're here, right? You're here to cultivate better habits so that you can get better results. And habits allow us to easily create a routine. And yesterday, I found myself, this was tied to like a work-related habit, okay? But habits are habits are habits. I noticed that yesterday I got done with work earlier than I normally do, which made me feel really weird.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
And granted, like it wasn't like it was like 2 p.m. or anything like that. It was like 6:30. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, for context, that's early.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, there's still light out. I'm like, who am I? Like, it's like, do you even try, bro?
It was really a breath of fresh air. Same with me.
No, but for me, like I felt a little bit of uncertainty. So I dove in within myself and I'm like, I wonder how many of you guys get to a point where, you know, let's say you are developing a routine with your workouts and all of a sudden, let's say you want to travel to Europe for 3 weeks and
you want to travel to Europe for 3 weeks?
Not right now. not right now. And you're like, we have attachments to what's familiar, right? So all of a sudden it's like, what am I going to do for 3 weeks without the gym? Can any of you guys relate to that? And that might not necessarily be the gym, that could
Yeah,
be
anything
something different, right? So
without
like
your routine.
for me, I find myself when something is unfamiliar, from the sense of it's outside of my routine, I feel this feeling now. I'm at a point in my journey where I know how to coach myself through this. So I don't put myself in a box whenever I feel that, like, oh, why are you feeling this way? But I was like, I feel like this can actually add a lot of value to anyone who is disciplined and on their quest for greatness, because I know I'm not the only one who's going through this. So that being said, can I ask you, you ready to dive deeper?
Yeah.
So I'm curious
I
to
got
know.
my swimsuit on, ready to go diving.
Great. Wow. So we are a Michael Phelps lumberjack, it turns out to be.
Limberjacked.
All right. Abraham Lincoln. Who else? Let's see who else comes out today. So from your own personal experience, I'm curious to know, how can you tell the difference between a genuine desire to get better and filling a void within yourself?
Can you genuine desire to get better in general, or like improve at something?
Like let's say when it comes to shift how you've operated up until now.
Well, okay, that's part of the answer. So the difference between a genuine desire to get better or improve versus filling a void. So first, I'm going to say what these two things mean to me, and then I'll answer the question. A genuine desire to get better is to make an improvement in an overall thing, or at one specific thing, a skill, something. In our industry, in this context, would be like to get leaner, to get more defined, stronger, whatever. And then to fill a void would kind of be like a pretending, like you want the thing, but you don't actually want to take the action. Like, so I don't know where the void filling, like filling a void, comes in. But to me, it is, you can tell the difference via somebody's action and consistency within the action. So if somebody actually wants to get better, the amount of times I hear somebody say, I want to get in better shape. Oh, I want your discipline. Oh, this, that. And then they go about their normal life to doing everything the same way that they did it before. To me, that says you want it, but you don't actually want it. Because anything that we truly want, we will take action towards. It is not a question. It is black and white. If I want something bad enough, I will find a way to get it. I will do what it takes to get it. Otherwise, I think that I want it, but I don't really, or I don't want it enough to do the actions required consistently enough. Or I like the idea of it, but not enough to take the action. So action is really where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. So let me
Talk is cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's dive a little deeper.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking about the person who is already consistent, right? Like I'm actually thinking about one of our Savage sisters, Jen Lewis, who
Ooh,
is currently walking
okay.
through an injury. She's currently at a point in her journey where I would say she's very consistent, she's disciplined, and now she's walking through an injury, right? And how do you know when intensity is a part of self-improvement versus filling a void?
Yeah, I'm not, I think The original question you asked, my answer is still my answer. And it seems like the question you're asking now is, how do you know when to push to where it serves you? And how do you know when to pull back so that it serves you? It's not really like filling a void. I'm not sure what is in your mind when it comes to that.
So for example, okay, I'm just
What
gonna
void would be
I'm just
filled?
gonna give you my own perspective. All right.
When I think about filling a void, I think about something is missing and I'm just trying to put something there to put something there. Or to avoid something.
or maybe an attachment to something. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of context. Okay. In seasons of, let's say, injury, I know some of you guys,
I want to answer this question, by the way, because it's really good. Like when to push and when to pull back and what's really beneficial.
yeah, so I'll just give you a little bit of context. So for example, I busted my left shoulder 3 times throughout my life. First time, it really was bicep tendonitis that got worse and worse and worse and worse because I didn't pull back. I kept on pushing because for me, pushing is what filled the void for me.
What was the void?
The void
Because a void is an empty space.
Yes. So I'll tell you the void. The void is filling the sense of I'm being good enough, because the story that I created back then, and that's what created injury number 2. And I don't know if any of you guys are resonating with it. I don't know if like these are the stories that are going on in your life or if you struggle with this, but I feel like someone would resonate with this. So they're like, for 6 months, like, don't go overhead, like, don't go really heavy, and like, like, be very diligent when it comes to upper body workouts, right? And I was like, I want to be competitive. It's gonna hold me back from my gains, yada yada yada. So once it started to feel better, I pushed like all out. And guess what happened? Like 3 months later, bam. Like at that point, I got to a point where my shoulder needed an MRI and stuff like that. And it's like God showed me a sign the first time and I didn't listen. And now it's like, all right, it's time for you to get disciplined. And I feel like for many people who it's like, okay, like at this point in the journey, like you are already disciplined, like you already have a routine, and maybe there are currently things going on in your life that requires some kind of pulling back. Now, pulling back does not mean no longer being a part of the routine.
It's really more of a shift in routine.
It's more of a shift. Like if you are experiencing resistance towards it, because that is something that I am learning to overcome in multiple areas of my life, right? When the how I do what I do to meet my intention shifts, how do I create peace with it?
Yeah. So it doesn't sound to me like filling a void. It sounds like allowing a fear to dictate your action.
Would you say that's filling a void?
Well, the void is like an empty space. So filling a void is like, I don't have love in my life and it makes me sad, so I'm going to drink about it. It's like, oh, I'm void of love. I'm void of connection. I'm missing something. Or maybe the void is like, I'm going to miss my gains or like something like that. And really, to me, what it sounds like is a fear of loss.
Yeah.
It's a fear of loss. It's not a void that exists. It's the fear of a void. And
can any of you guys who are live with us, can you relate to this? I'm curious. Or am I like the only like delusional lunatic? Okay, good.
No. And there's so many women that I've also heard have this fear of getting injured, because then it's going to mean they can't work out. And if they can't work out, they're going to get fat. Ultimately, this is like the story we make. If I can't work out, I'm going to get fat. So I'm scared. What if I get injured? What if, anything?
Or my body's gonna change. Like that fat, like
sure,
when you're disciplined, like fat, like that's a whole other extreme, right? But it's like
I'd say
You,
that's where the
you
majority
know,
of
it's,
people are, though.
yeah, right. But like whether it's that or I don't want to lose my gains or I don't want to get softer, like
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like I I would say I'm uncomfortable with getting softer. I am. Why? Because this body gives me confidence in
Yeah,
who I am.
same. Yeah, same. So I've actually felt something. I have felt this feeling.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it went as far as fear. It was more of a recognizing of.
Yeah.
And if I'm like, oh no, like I'm not gonna, example, I had surgery on my mouth a couple of weeks ago, just got my stitches out this week. Hallelujah.
Your
And
fishing rod?
my fishing line, gosh, I was so stupid. Okay. Anyways, it was suggested to me. I'm not going to say I couldn't work out. Yes, I could have, but there were consequences that I didn't want to face. So it was suggested to me, don't lift heavy or do any type of, you know, extreme working out for 3 days after the surgery. The thought did cross my mind of, oh my gosh, am I going to get soft? Come on, how ridiculous! In 3 days, Erin, really? Like, what are you going to eat the whole house and like just sit on your ass? No. So like my first step was like, be logical. Like you're in your emotion right now, be
I
logical,
get it.
because what you resist also persists. So and what you fear and obsess about and think about the most will become your reality. So it's
Mhm.
very important that you recognize these thoughts. So for me, it was like, it actually is completely fine. And I turned it into, how can this be a great thing for me? I push my body all the time. What a beautiful blessing that I get to actually calm down and mentally, like, not have to hype myself up to squat a gazillion pounds or feel my muscles burning constantly in a workout or be out of breath and feel like I can't breathe. Like, what a blessing to have these few days. Let me lean into it and absorb it and love it, because you know what? The reality is, I can also tailor my nutrition and the other things that I do to match that level of activity. Fine. Perfect. It's perfect. And so, like, that's the route I took myself through. And so when you have an injury or when you're feeling ill, let's say, you're coming down with something, you're not feeling 100%, your throat's getting scratchy or whatever's happening, I've become actually really good at this, is noticing these things immediately and being like, okay, I'm going to pull back. Because my pulling back temporarily right now on purpose and seeing it as a beautiful thing is actually going to serve me so much better in the big picture and a week from now or 2 weeks from now than it would if I just tried to push through because of that fear of whatever's going to happen if I don't get to do my full workout or push to the maximum. And so, first thing is acknowledging the thing that you're feeling. The second thing is making it a logical, um, making it logically okay, and then taking it to the next level and saying, this is why this is so perfect for me right now.
Mhm.
This is what door is opening for me right now, because every time a door closes, another one opens. But if you're so focused on the closed door, guess what? You are stuck. Now you're just stuck. Even if there is an open door, you are not seeing it because you're staring at the closed door and the open door is behind you and you refuse to look another way.
Mhm.
Oh my God, oh no, I can't do anything. Yeah, look around. Open your mind to something else being possible for you. Then you can find an open door and be like, beautiful, perfect. This is the purpose of why this is happening right now for me.
All right. So another question, because I want to make sure that we clearly define the difference between pulling back and giving up, because I believe that
Ah,
most people misconstrue what pulling back
well,
is.
let's not call it pulling back.
Okay.
We'll call it a pivot.
All right.
It's a
So
shift.
so still, how would you define the difference between a pivot
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
and giving up? Because
Yeah.
I feel, drop truth in the chat if you agree, that most people pulling back, okay, that means I'm not gonna follow through with my
I won't
routine.
work out at all.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. Perfect. I'm going to give an analogy. Imagine you are going to an appointment and it's a very important appointment. And you start driving and there's a road closure. Well, when there's a road closure, what do they typically provide? If you can't go this route, what do they provide? A detour. You go a different way. You're not quitting on getting to the destination. You've said, I'm going to this appointment. You're driving. Uh-oh, the path I thought I was going to take isn't available right now. So what, are you going to turn around and go home? No, you find another way. You keep moving forward, but it just looks different. It's not the normal route. It's not the normal path. Okay, fine, but you're still taking steps forward to getting to the destination you intended on getting to.
Mm-hmm.
This happened to us yesterday or the day before. We were on our way home from the gym and I don't know what happened. 2 cars got in an accident.
Side road.
And we were like, okay, we slowed down. We stopped actually. We slowed down and we stopped. We assessed the situation. Acknowledge the conversation in your head. Stop, assess.
Then
we were like, okay, well, are we going to go straight? Like there's some space there. Are we going to be able to go around? Do we want to what are we going to do now? And then we took a right, we detoured, we went around to the other street, and then we carried on our way.
Mm-hmm.
Still made it home. Just took a different path. Like how ridiculous would it be if you're at your kid's soccer game and then you guys are on your way home and you're like, yes, we're going home. And then like the one road is closed and you're like, well, I guess we can't go home. Oh no, we can't go home. It's ridiculous. You would never say that. Same thing with your goals. You're on your way, just might be a different way than you anticipated. And that's okay. Life is full of detours. And you can never anticipate them all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with the flow, baby. Water.
So
That's a good analogy, huh?
that is a really great analogy. And I believe that while you're speaking truth, it's one of those things that it's like easier said than done.
This is why you ask. I want to say if you're watching this on YouTube right now and you have a situation you've run into that you don't know what the detour looks like, just comment it put it in the comments and we'll help you. If you're in Savage Sisters, make a post.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this road is closed. I'm not sure what the detour looks like. Can somebody help me?
Yeah. So how does one, I gotta ask that question. How does one avoid?
Like not. Okay.
Pulling back or quitting when it comes time to take a pivot? Because pivots a lot of times can be very defeating for the ego.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if, like you're like me, like I was defeated. I'm like, oh my God, like that means, like when that happened at the time, I was just like, I was at a point in my journey where I was like learning pull-up skills, like kipping pull-ups and butterfly pull-ups and all of that.
And your ego wanted to look sexy.
Yeah, my ego is like, what? 6 months? I'm not gonna work on it? F that. So once it started feeling better, it's like, I can push through.
And then a year you can't work on it.
I can push through, right? And then, yeah. So like it.
How do you overcome the defeating feeling, like initially?
Yeah. Of like, shit, like that's gonna set me back by 6 months.
Have you had that aside from that event? Because obviously you didn't really win that one, but I think it comes with maturity and wisdom and really learning from past mistakes. But like, have you experienced it since then where you've chosen a different, like you have felt defeated and you worked your way through it?
I would say so. Like you're right. I believe it does come to maturity now that you're saying that, because the first time it happened, it's because, well, no, well, the second time it happened is because when it happened the first time, I didn't listen, and it was ego driven because I wanted to be right. Like I wanted to do things my own way.
You thought it was a sexy movement and you were like, I'm going to get it and I'm going to look
Yeah,
so
I
good.
was more focused on the short-term reward than the long-term game, right?
Butterfly pull-ups are sexy.
Yeah, they are. Love them.
No doubt about it.
And
Just flying through the air, whipping your body around like a fish. Looks so good.
like a whale. When you're looking like a whale is goals. Anyways, but so the second time around after it happened, I was like, okay, like I got disciplined. I'm like, this is what happened. Now the road is not 6 months. Now the road is 9 months, right?
Life will discipline those who do not discipline themselves.
Yeah. And you know what? At that point, I was very, very diligent with prehabbing and rehabbing my shoulders. And I did have one time after that, which was like 8 years later in my journey. That was when we lived in Tampa, where
you cried about it.
I went for a really big swing doing a ring muscle up.
Oof.
And because, like after certain injuries, our body is so smart, it compensates. And I actually chose to, like, my range of motion was like the highest it's ever been, because I was wanting to string in 2 reps. And all of a sudden, as I went back, I felt this pop. And it was the same thing again. But that's when I knew, I'm like, you know what? Like maybe you're at a point in your life where, again, like ring muscle ups are a sexy thing. It's like you can do it, you can work on improving it. But the reality is, like, what's the bigger purpose behind it? Right. So it was another disciplining in my journey. But now that I'm looking back at my history with my shoulder injuries, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. It is a game of maturity, because when we're immature, we want to do things their own way. When we're immature, we want to take the most convenient path. I do truly believe, and I believe with a greater sense of maturity, there is a perspective shift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each person has their own reason why. It seems like for both of us, it's actually a looking good thing.
Yeah.
I want to look good.
Yeah.
And do you know how many times, like the immature version of me would, if we're in a gym or whatever, and we're in a group of people we don't really know, and someone does a ring muscle up, like, perfect example, actually. When we were at our live event in 2022, I think it was 2022. It was the first one we did in Hollywood. The year doesn't matter. Tay Richardson was like hanging around on the rings and like going upside down and da-da-da. And my egotistical self was like, oh, you should just get up there and bust out a ring muscle up. Why? To look good. Just to look good.
It's like,
but I was actually really proud of myself, because this was a part of my journey where, like, it was challenging for me to not do that. Now I really don't care. I'd say there's still a degree anybody cares about what someone thinks about them, but at this point in my life, I wear a fucking nose thing every day. Like, I don't care. And it's one of those things where you're like, you no longer care what people think about what you're capable of, or what you can do, or what you look like.
Or you're no longer seeking validation from an external
100%. This is it. I don't need the validation.
Yeah.
And I think over time, and that's not in all cases, but it's this first acknowledge and figure out, why is it that you want to keep pushing forward when you know, like, you dang well know in your gut when it is not going to serve you.
Yeah.
So first acknowledging and recognizing, like, why am I wanting to do that? What's the fear? What's the conversation? What's the goodie that I get out of risking that? And so back to the maturity, you will keep running into the same wall over and over again until you learn the lesson that wall is there to teach you.
That's so true. That's so true.
And so if you find yourself keep running into the same issues, figure out what that wall is, because you'll only get past it when you learn what it is and find another way, because that road is closed. Detour.
And I want to, like, real quick give, like, this is where community and mentorship really comes into play, because so many times you cannot, like, when you are inside the cup, you cannot see from a point of view of, like, over the cup or outside the cup, right? Because
you can't read the label from inside the glass.
There you go.
If you're a jar of spaghetti sauce and you are the spaghetti sauce, and the spaghetti sauce is the content of you, and the jar is the context of you, you are inside. You cannot read the label that's on the outside. Blind spots. Just what you're saying, right?
Yeah. And I remember that.
Make more coffee. Anybody want more coffee?
You can make me some too while you're heating up water. So back to my shoulder injury story, and then I'm gonna read some of your guys' comments, because I definitely care to read those. As I remember, after it happened the second time, there was one coach at the time that I really looked up to, because she was super competitive and super generous. Like, she made it to regionals. So it's like, all right, like, clearly you know what the frick you're doing, right? Because you're an amazing athlete, right? And I was learning how to be a better athlete at that point. And when it happened the second time, she's like, remember what I told you? You didn't listen. And I was like, eee.
Oh, that's like mom saying, I'm so disappointed in
No, it's not. It's not it's
so
not,
disappointed.
It's not that, because I feel like sometimes when mom says I'm so disappointed in you, like, it goes one ear over the other. At least it did for me. But it's someone that I chose to get advice from, and I didn't listen to their point of view. And now it's like, all right, accountability, now right? Your ego hurts too. Yeah, it's like wow, like, it's point of view of, wow, like, you really did it to yourself, fool. Like, something's got to change, right? So I think moments like this are great moments to really discipline ourselves. And if you're bullheaded like me, which I believe many of you guys are, otherwise, you know, you wouldn't be here. Like, just caution yourself. Like, how many times are you standing in your own way of your greatness? Because there is some kind of void that's egotistical that you're feeding. You know what I mean? So let's see what you guys have to say.
What do we got? Read them out loud.
It's like the doctor give you antibiotic, and he says to be sure to finish it, but you stop taking it when you start feeling better, and the infection becomes even worse. Yeah, absolutely. You didn't follow through all the way. Paralysis by analysis. If I lose my workout option, then why bother with any of it? It's a dusty mindset. Yeah, totally. I do get super anxious if I feel a cold coming on for fear of losing my momentum. Yep, I hear you. I did that yesterday with my choice movement. I had to listen to my body and do chair exercises instead of aerobic workout I wanted to do. It might take longer, but you'll still get there. Truth. Yeah.
It actually will take longer if you don't listen.
Well, yes, that's what I learned over time.
I don't figure it out.
So Erin said it might actually take longer if you don't listen. So this is real truth right there. So for any of you bullheaded people like me, eventually what would be a 6-month healing journey ended up taking me a little bit more than 2 years, like, between, the mess ups, right? So for everything that we do, there is a trade-off, right? Like life is full of trade-offs. So let's say when you are giving up the option of, let's say, eating something that you know is not in alignment with your goals, while in the moment it might feel inconvenient, like especially if you're going out to dinner with friends, because oh my god, like, you know, like, why don't you have this cheeseburger, it's fun, but you're like,
Ooh.
I want to feel fun when I wake up tomorrow. I want to, you know, like feel great 10 years from now.
Cheeseburger.
And
No,
I want
fuck.
my heart health to be like in a certain place. Or, you know, like I want to feel fun when I look at myself in the mirror
Yeah.
because I feel like I can have my shirt all the way up because I'm not bloated from eating garbage, right? So there's a trade-off for everything, right? And ultimately, I have found, thank you to that realization, that when I let my ego dictate my direction in life, what ends up happening
Or
is that,
fear.
yeah, well, fear is ego based actually, because there's something
Okay, fear
we're
slash
holding
ego.
on. Yeah. So, so what actually ends up happening is I delay my transformation. You know what I mean? What we think we need in the moment can be our comfort zone, right? So, for example, for like with Jen Lewis's situation, right now she is at a point where she's super consistent, right? And she's gained all this momentum, and now, you know, there's something wonky happening with her hip. And the question is now, okay, you know, like yesterday I gave her a recommendation of, okay, like he's back on intensity right now. And when intensity has served you and now you get to shift your relationship with intensity, it might feel like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like it's weird because it's not your comfort zone. And same thing for me, right? Like I was done with work like an hour ahead, like when I normally do, and I'm like, do you even try, bro? You know what
What
I
do I
mean?
do with
Because
my
I'll tell
life?
you, like, you know, like bootstrapping a business for the last 8 years has been one of the most challenging things of my entire life, right? So I created the story of this is hard and it's going to take everything, which it totally did, right? And I'm like, oh my God, there's still light out. Do you even try, bro?
Do you know? I'm going to say this because
So I allowed myself to, like, you know what? You earned it. Like, congratulations.
so
But I'm totally letting you into my world with all of my like insecurities and human.
no, but this is good because on the topic of earning it, this is so going to relate to some people too, where there's still a place where you find you have historically, maybe there's still something lingering. Only you can say,
Let's say.
in finding validation from what you achieve.
Oh, come on.
And if I didn't work until this time, that means I'm unworthy of success.
Yes, of course, that lands.
If I didn't work out for this much time, if I didn't run this far, if I didn't burn this many calories, if I didn't whatever, fill in the blank, I'm unworthy of blank. No, you're not. Because the reality is you can choose to finish work at 2 p.m. every damn day if you want it to.
I know.
It's hold on. I'm with you.
No, you're right. This is so good.
Where, okay, you used to find validation from your like muscle ups or butterfly pull ups or an achievement, something I'm capable of doing. Well, what if it could just be that I choose whatever I want to choose when I want to choose it? Now, every action has an equal or opposite reaction. So you just know what are the potential consequences, whether it's favorable or unfavorable, doesn't matter. Consequences, reactions, whatever. And am I willing to choose that? Not if I choose this, I'm worthy or unworthy. But just knowing if I choose this, here's the reward, here's the potential risk. I don't know. Here's the upside, here's the downside. Here's the favorable. Yeah, here's the favorable outcome, here's the unfavorable outcome. Here's the potentials.
Yeah.
Do I want to choose that? Because if we say, "Oh, I'll just do whatever I want, whenever I want, however long I want," it's like, okay, then I'm gonna freaking just eat Cold Stone Creamery ice cream every day for breakfast and not give a shit? No, because the consequence of that is something I'm unwilling to bear. It isn't, oh, if I do this, I'm unworthy of something, or I'm worthy of something. Oh, I have to work until this time to be worthy of success. I have to burn this many calories to be worthy of fucking Taco Tuesday. I don't know why this word is coming out of my mouth. I'm being really dramatic. Okay. And choices are choices and they're neutral.
Yeah.
I choose discipline because to me, the discipline is what makes me feel super confident. More so, here's an example too. Do you ever like eat like garbage and then you wake up the next morning and you look like you don't even have to look in the mirror. You're just like, I'm fatter today just because of what you ate the day before. And then it's like you eat clean, you make good choices. Maybe it took a lot of effort for you to like not cave in to a temptation that you were around. You wake up the next morning and you're like, I feel leaner. You're not really in one day fatter or leaner. However, our mind will make it so because of how we acted.
That's so true. It is so true.
You can even significantly overeat healthy food and feel it's a gluttonous behavior and feel fatter the next day, even though it was healthy. It's not as much to do with the actual food as it is your behavior and how you feel about it. So what actions will result in you feeling the best about you tomorrow?
That's so good. And truly, this is why when it comes to my health, I'm like I cracked the code with myself because I've been through so many ups and downs and I've walked myself through these conversations. When it comes to other scenarios in my life though, like what you said right now, it's like, oh, totally.
Did that just stab you in your ego?
No, you didn't stab me in my ego. It really landed because it was really true. It's like I created a story of I am worthy of success when it's really hard because it has been really hard, right? So like that has become my comfort zone.
Like it has to be hard to
grind, all hard, do whatever it takes, even if it makes you uncomfortable, regardless of what time it is. That has been my life, for almost a decade. And for those of you guys who it's like, it's like, let's say if you get to a point where you're like, wow, like this is the best I've ever felt. And what it took is extreme discipline, eating clean with nutrition, and, like working out in a certain way, which by the way, this is exactly for those of you guys who are, in the peak physique climb, and you make it to Hall of Fame, by the time you finish, you're sharp, right? And the reason why
when you pull the sword out, it goes shing.
You're so sharp. You're going to feel so great. You're going to look so great. And the reason why there is the alumni path is exactly for that.
Stay sharp.
It's how do you stay sharp without feeling like you got to be on all 100%. The time, right? Because it does, like, there becomes a new comfort zone of once you overcome the hard, right? And I was telling Shauna Fulkerson that, shout out to her, like when she had to restart peak because of something that was outside of her control, like up until now, she has gone through this journey of like fight, grit, grind, hard, whatever it takes. And I'm
Hustle.
like, all right. And now you have a blessing of you get to figure out how to create that level of discipline with ease and flow. Right. And same for me with the pursuit of our mission with, like my career and how I want to make a difference in the world. It's like, what if I allow myself to, yes, of course, work hard, be diligent, and at the same time, like,
Just feels good.
what if it gets to be easy? Which
Yeah.
is like, like a whole new world. So for anyone who is bullheaded like me, and you find comfort in what's familiar, like I'm curious based on what you're currently pursuing in your own life, like how is that resonating with you, right? So when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, like that totally strikes a chord, because I have created a story of I am who I am because of my results, right? So also, which I get to reach, I get to recreate that story. Of course, like be results driven, and at the same time, who am I without seeking validation from results? By the way, if you guys haven't noticed, for the last couple of months, I do not wear my whoop. And of course, I still am totally on top of, like my metrics. I'm, doing, I'm following through with alumni because I want to focus on my controllables. My intention is to like not be exposed to so many metrics where my entire life is a validation game of an external source, because I noticed that I got so obsessed with continuously like beating like a certain strain metric every single day in my workout. And if I didn't hit that strain metric, did I even work hard? Like,
Yeah, it's the same
but
thing with work.
seriously.
Like, what if you could be done at
Or
5 every
no,
night?
I know. Just hold on. Like for any of you guys who are resonating with this, like I'm totally letting you into my world. Or, like I became so obsessed with, because my VO2 max would go up and up. And I would do everything that I could to beat my VO2 max. And I'm like checking my whoop 10 times a day. I'm like, bro,
Did my VO2 max go up yet?
like
5 minutes went
these
by.
things take months, right? So I'm like, all right, like, probably in like 3 or 6 months, I'm going to put it on again and see how has my work over the last, like 6 or 9 months, like affected my metrics, right? Versus obsessing about it every day. And I see that with so many women on the scale. And by the way, this is why in Peak Physique, we don't have you guys weigh yourself every single day for that same reason. It's like, yes, you want to be sharp and on top of it with your action steps, because that gives you control from a sense of you having full awareness as to where you're at from a consistency standpoint. At the same time, you're not obsessing over a external source for validation, because I have found in my own journey that when I continuously seek validation from external sources,
You're in prison.
yeah, yeah, and I've been there.
You're in prison.
Yeah, so
Your feelings are at the whim of the validation. And it is never in one day what happens that gives you the results that you're looking for. It is always what happens over a long period of time. And so I drew a little graph that I want to share. If you're in Savage Sisters and you've gone through the Peak Physique, or you're currently in it right now, you'll understand this, but you'll understand it even better after I show you the graph, especially if you haven't finished. If you've already finished and you're in alumni, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's legit. And it maps it out perfectly. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you have no idea what we're talking about, that's fine. I'll explain as we go. And also,
wait.
also, if it's resonating with you, then also click the link below this video and you can start the 7-day body shred for free. Okay. So first you start in the 7-day body shred. Okay. And where is that? Right here. 7-day body shred. You're just like building a foundation, right? And notice this line isn't perfectly up. Like here, it's not perfectly up. It's a little squiggly, and it should be like actually really messy because that's just how reality is. But because success is also not linear. 7-day body shred, you're just getting started. Then you jump into the 6-week peak physique. Now we make some more gains. You see it goes a little faster. Okay. Then you hit peak physique elite. And all of a sudden over here, it says, what does this say over here? Discipline and growth. So your level of discipline and growth is on the up side, and then time and life and where you're at in the journey is on the downside. Okay. So here's your discipline and growth, and here's life. So you are going through the peak physique, and all of a sudden, like, this is the peak right here. Gosh.
Yeah, they can see. They can see really
this well. Is the peak right here. This is phase 4 of peak physique elite. Phase 3 is somewhere like right here, and then here's 6 weeks. Now, alumni, right here, alumni. Notice your gains are not as dramatic as they were here, but you still want to continue growing. I see a comment from Mindy that says something about waiting for the day it gets easy. I'm going to explain this.
She's in peak right now.
When we say let it be easy, it means like don't stress about it. Don't over effort yourself to where you're obsessing about everything that could go wrong or how hard it is or the downsides. Like don't over effort yourself to like where it is just so painful all the time. Mm-hmm. That's where we say like let it be easy is like a flow with it, regardless of the challenges. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going for easy, like you want it to be effortless and easy, you're going to be significantly disappointed because the moment you want it to be easy is comfort. And comfort in pockets is great. I want to sleep in a comfortable bed. But if life gets too comfortable, you get soft. You do. This is why. Hold on, I'm not finished.
Sorry.
If you get too comfortable for too long, you get soft. And life will smack you in your face. It will discipline you if you are not disciplining yourself. So never expect easy. Never expect ease, but look for flow.
That's good.
Never expect it to be easy. The second you think it's going to be easy, a flat line always drops. There is no maintenance. There's no maintenance. You're striving to improve, or you are settling and you will get what you get by default.
So good.
So don't ever expect easy. But in the midst of life's challenges or the discipline that is challenging for you, find flow to make it feel like it isn't so mentally taxing. Like just lean into it, evolve with it, flow with it versus like grinding. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
That's good.
Because even in alumni, we're not coasting.
No.
Because not every day is easy. Life still meets you with challenges that you need to figure out how to overcome, pivot, navigate, work through. And it's constant. That's why we have Peak Physique alumni. Because even though you're super sharp, the second you think you're good, watch out. Like that's when the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The second you think you're good, the second you let your foot off the gas, the second you let your guard down, you're doomed.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Was it you who told me this story? It was either you or I either like heard it on a podcast this week, but one of the Roman emperors like had a way of being extremely disciplined, which, you know, I like to study extremely disciplined people because like
I did.
Everything great creates is created by consistency, right? So
intentional consistency.
So one of the Roman emperors every single year had a thing where for an entire week, even though, Roman emperors were like the most privileged, right? Like they had the absolute best life.
He was in some position, a king or a leader, or emperor or something.
Yeah, where he would, for an entire week, he would sleep on the floor.
He would sleep on the floor and he would eat the food that everybody else ate.
Yeah.
Not
Why?
kings and emperors. Yeah.
Why? To humble himself, right? And to allow him to stay sharp, right? Because when we get soft, when we take the foot off the gas, this is exactly what happens. So
you forget where you came from.
Yeah.
You forget how hard it was for you at one point. You forget the shit that you felt when you were at that level. And where I heard this from or read this from was the book Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. And so he talks about the Stoics. And it actually serves you to be disciplined, because even though he had life good, the way he disciplined himself, where other men of the similar position or power didn't, they were not prepared when life threw them something that they had to overcome. Because he disciplined himself, he was prepared. He was ready. He was sharp. And it's like, no matter how disciplined you get, you can always lose it. You can always lose it if you're in the environment that doesn't hold the standard, or around people that don't hold the standard or discourage you, or are in your ear convincing you of something else. If something in life happens and you don't have the support to navigate it, this is exactly why Peak Physique alumni exists, because life still does life things, and it still presents challenges left and right, unexpected. And when you have a group, when you have a community, when you have structure, when you have a support system, when you have people who will hold the line for you, who will challenge you to continue to grow and evolve and be better, you don't fall back to this level of comfort that will ruin you.
Yeah.
And something I just want to say, I know like we're at an hour. We don't talk a lot about like world events or politics, and this is really outside of the scope of what we do. I just really feel it on my heart to acknowledge everybody who is in pain right now from the world circumstances. Obviously, if you're watching this now, I'm sure you're aware that there's a lot happening in the Middle Eastern region and other countries getting involved, and people are dying. And it's just really on my heart to acknowledge and send whatever virtual love, vibes, healing, peace of mind, health, joy that I can to any family, any person who's involved very directly in any of these circumstances. Just seeing people dying that are really good people breaks my heart. And so, if anybody's watching this who is directly involved, I just want to send love.
Or even if you're indirectly involved, but we're all connected in one way or another. Yeah.
So, if you're really feeling the effects.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely living through some crazy times, and all we can do is our best. And that's why it starts with all of us.
Starts with this one.
It starts with us choosing to be better.
Yeah.
Right. And when we do that, when we know better, we do better. Right.
This is the one thing we all have control over, is how we show up in the world.
Yeah.
How good of a human being we are, how sharp we are, how prepared we are, how kind We are. Even if somebody doesn't agree with you or see eye to eye or, have your same belief system or thought process, we're all people. And I believe that the majority of us want to do good and be good in the world. And so really it just starts with us. And that is why we exist. Not only to like be jacked and juicy and look sexy naked, but to really be the best version of ourselves that we can be, because that does ripple out beyond you, whether you realize it or not. When you see someone at the grocery store and you're kind to them, if they drop something and you pick it up and give it to them, if somebody says something about a politician that you don't like or agree with, that you have compassion for that person and seek understanding and curiosity versus hate.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we have control over.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, half of the Savage sisters voted for one president and half of them voted for another president, but here we are all getting along. And it's absolutely incredible. And so I guess I just say this to like, wake up and be the best version of you. Wake up and be the best version of you that you can, and let that light the world and ripple outside of you.
So good. So by the way, if you're currently at a point in your life where you are hungry to grow and become a better version of yourself, you got to be in the right environment that can allow you to flourish and be the soil. And if you're at a point where you don't have that environment currently, then check out the link in the description to join our Savage Sisters group, where you can get structure, accountability, support, and really be a part of a like-minded, love-filled growth environment where, yes, we do get jacked and juicy, but it's way beyond that. It's really the story of what's in between our ears and how can we become better for ourselves each and every single day. Because the truth is that without your health, you have nothing. You know what I mean? So like our physical health and our mental health is intertwined. And also I want to speak on mental health real quick. There's lots of talk about mental health, but here's what I feel is like hasn't really been discovered is most people who struggle with just a lot of mental things just haven't been taught how to create mental resilience. So like,
or have purpose, or find joy.
So mental fitness is actually what creates physical fitness, right? And they go hand in hand, right? So like, it is your duty and responsibility to become mentally fit, because otherwise, with everything that's happening in the world, you will fall for depression, you will fall for anxiety. Like, been there, done that, right? And when you learn how to cultivate mental fitness, which is a skill, by the way, and you have the power, you do, then anything is possible for you. I don't care which humble beginnings you've come from. I don't care which adversities you've had. We're real people and we're just like you. And just know that we believe in you. So yeah, if you're not currently in that environment, then check out the link in the description. We'd love to have you be
and if you've watched this far, just do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for being live.
Yeah. Love you, Savage Sisters. We'll see you on the next episode.
Happy Flex Friday. Post your flexes in the group. Post all your flexes.
Bye, guys. Peace out.